You ever notice how quickly your peace can disappear? One moment, everything feels steady, and the next, a single word, a single setback, or a single unexpected event can throw your entire state of mind into chaos. It happens to everyone, yet few realize that the greatest power a person can develop is the ability to remain calm no matter what storm arrives. Calm is not weakness. Calm is not passivity. Calm is the highest form of strength because it means your inner world cannot be controlled by what happens outside of you. The truth is, most people live like fragile glass, shattering at the slightest pressure. Anger breaks them. Fear shakes them. Stress bends them. But the ones who learn to stay calm in the middle of chaos are the ones who rise above it all. They are trusted. They are respected. They are the ones others turn to when everything is falling apart. Why? Because calmness is the anchor that keeps you steady when the waves of life try to drag you under. Think about how much energy you lose when you react with panic. Your heart races, your thoughts scatter, your judgment disappears. You say things you regret, make decisions you wish you could take back, and allow fear to dictate your path. But when you choose calmness, you take back control. Your mind becomes sharp. Your decisions become stronger. Your presence becomes unshakable. Calmness doesn't remove the storm, but it removes the storm's power over you. This is why training your mind to stay calm is one of the greatest skills you can ever build. It will serve you in every area of life, your career, your relationships, your health, your inner peace. Calmness will protect you from wasting your energy on battles that don't matter. Calmness will allow you to think clearly when others fall apart. Calmness will make you the type of person who commands respect without even asking for it. Imagine what your life would feel like if you were no longer pulled by every emotion, every insult, every unexpected problem. Imagine walking into stressful situations with a steady heart and a clear mind. Imagine becoming a person who is trusted because nothing shakes you, who is admired because you never lose yourself to chaos. That is the reward of calmness. That is the life you unlock when you master your inner world. But here's the most important truth. Calmness does not come from outside of you. It does not come from waiting for life to finally become easier. It does not come from hoping people will stop testing your patience. It comes from within. It comes from training your mind, disciplining your reactions, and choosing peace again and again until it becomes who you are. This is not about suppressing emotions. It is about channeling them. It is about mastering them instead of letting them master you. It is about building the kind of presence that cannot be shaken. When you cultivate this power, life changes. Stress no longer controls you. Fear no longer dictates your choices. Anger no longer steals your clarity. You become the master of yourself, and that is the greatest victory any human can achieve. Stay with this journey because each step you take will give you tools to transform the way you respond to life. By the end, you will no longer be the same. You will not only learn how to stay calm in any situation, you will become calm itself. And that is the ultimate strength. If calmness is the strength you seek, then you must first understand why your mind so easily abandons it. Every time stress takes over, every time panic floods your body, it is not because you are weak. It is because your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Deep inside your mind, there's a mechanism built for survival. It reacts to threats, both real and imagined, by triggering fear and urgency. This is your fight or flight response. Thousands of years ago, it kept your ancestors alive, but today, it often misfires. A harsh word from someone, a looming deadline, a sudden change of plans. Your brain treats these things like danger, and your body reacts as if survival is at stake. This is why your heart races, why your chest tightens, why your thoughts scatter the moment tension arises. Your amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for emotions, hijacks your reasoning. It screams that you must react immediately, without thought, without patience. But here lies the truth. The panic you feel is not reality, it is biology. And when you know this, you gain an incredible advantage, because awareness breaks chains. Once you understand the source of your reaction, you no longer mistake it for your identity. You realize that panic is not who you are, it is simply what your brain does. The key to calmness begins here, with awareness. When you feel the surge of fear or anger rising, recognize it for what it is, an ancient alarm system firing at the wrong time. Instead of fighting it or judging yourself for it, step back. Say to yourself, this is my brain preparing for battle, but there is no battle here. This moment of recognition separates you from the storm. It creates space for clarity. It reminds you that While the mind reacts automatically, you still hold the power to choose your response. Think about how liberating this truly is. How many times have you believed that your emotions were stronger than you? How often have you felt trapped by your reactions? The reality is that you are not trapped. You are not powerless. You are simply untrained. And just like any skill, calmness grows stronger every time you practice awareness. Every time you notice your mind being pulled into panic, you gain an opportunity to reclaim control. This shift changes everything. Instead of being a prisoner of stress, you become an observer of it. Instead of drowning in emotion, you begin to rise above it. You no longer confuse temporary feelings with permanent truth. You no longer mistake urgency for importance. You begin to see that the voice of panic is just noise and you do not have to obey it. And the reward is immense. With this understanding, you carry yourself differently. Your reactions slow down. Your decisions sharpen. Your presence becomes steady. Others notice it too. They feel your calmness and it gives them calmness. You stop being the one who adds to the chaos and you start being the one who dissolves it. That is power. That is mastery. This is the foundation on which unshakable calmness is built. The recognition that your brain will react, but you do not have to. You are not your panic. You are not your fear. You are not the storm. You are the awareness behind it, the presence watching it, the strength that can stand still even as everything around you tries to pull you apart. When you know this, you are already stronger than most. And as you continue to train this awareness, your calm will no longer be fragile. It will become unbreakable. One of the greatest traps the mind falls into is the illusion of control. You feel the need to hold everything tightly, to manage every detail, to predict every outcome. And when life refuses to bend to your demands, stress grows, panic builds, and your calm shatters. But here is the truth. Most of what you try to control was never yours to hold in the first place. The behavior of others, the opinions they carry, the circumstances that appear without warning, these are outside your reach. Yet the more you fight to control them, the more powerless you feel. Calmness begins when you break free from this illusion. It begins the moment you stop trying to command what cannot be commanded and redirect your energy toward what is truly within your influence. That influence lies in your thoughts, your actions, and your response. Nothing more, nothing less. When you cling to control over the uncontrollable, you create frustration. But when you release it, you create peace. Letting go is not weakness. Letting go is clarity. It is the wisdom to know that freedom does not come from gripping tighter, but from releasing the things that were never meant to be yours. Ask yourself, how many times have you exhausted yourself over problems you can never fix? How many nights have you lost to replaying scenarios in your head, believing that worry might change the outcome? That weight you carry does nothing but steal your calm. And the cruel irony is this: while you are distracted trying to control what you cannot, you neglect the one thing you always could, your state of mind. The calmest people are not those who have mastered life circumstances. They are those who have mastered themselves. They know storms will come, but they also know storms will pass. They do not waste their strength trying to command the wind. They stand firmly, adjust their sails, and focus on the only thing they can steer, their own direction. That is why they are free. That is why they cannot be broken. Detachment from control does not mean indifference. It does not mean you stop caring. It means you understand the line between what is yours and what is not. It means you act with full commitment where you have power and you release the rest with trust and patience. This is not escape. It is power. Because when you stop scattering your energy on the impossible, you can finally pour it into the possible. And the reward is profound. Imagine how much calmer you would feel if you carried only what was truly yours to carry. Imagine how much sharper your focus would be if your mind wasn't weighed down by what you could never change. Imagine how much lighter your soul would be if you stopped trying to wrestle with every wave and instead learned to flow with them. This is the kind of peace that no one can take away from you because it is born from wisdom, not circumstances. The path to calmness is not about controlling life. It is about controlling yourself within life. It is about knowing that while chaos may surround you, it cannot own you. You do not need to hold everything together. You only need to hold yourself. And when you finally release what is not yours, you will discover a strength you never knew you had, a strength that is calm, steady, and free. When the weight of life presses against you, there is one tool that never abandons you, one power that is always within reach, one anchor that can pull you back into calmness no matter how fierce the storm feels. Your breath. It is the simplest thing and yet the most profound. The rhythm of your breathing is the rhythm of your mind. When your breath is shallow and rapid, your thoughts become frantic. When your breath is slow and steady, your mind begins to quiet. This is not philosophy. This is biology. Your nervous system listens to the pace of your breathing and it responds. Calm the breath and you calm the body. Calm the body and you calm the mind. Every time panic tries to take you, the first thing it steals is your breath. Your chest tightens. You inhale quickly but never fully. You exhale sharply but never completely. And without realizing it, you feed your own anxiety. But the moment you take control of your breathing, everything shifts. Deep, slow, intentional breaths send a signal to your brain. You are safe. You are steady. You are in control. This single act lowers your heart rate, lowers your blood pressure, and quiets the storm inside your chest. Think of the power in this. No matter where you are, no matter who you are with, no matter what is happening around you, you can use your breath to return to calmness. You don't need equipment. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You only need awareness. One breath in, one breath out, each cycle pulling you further from panic and closer to peace. This is why those who master their breath appear unshakable. They do not react impulsively because they have trained themselves to pause, inhale, and anchor. They understand that no storm lasts forever. And with every breath, they remind themselves that they are more powerful than the chaos around them. Their calmness is not luck. It is discipline. They have chosen to use the tool most people ignore. And here lies your opportunity. You can train your breath the way others train their bodies. You can make calmness a reflex instead of panic. Each time stress rises, you have a choice. Let your body dictate your state or reclaim control with your breath. At first, it takes effort, but soon it becomes your nature. With practice, the moment you feel your calm slipping, your body will instinctively draw in that deeper breath, and the storm will lose its grip on you. The beauty of this practice is in its simplicity. Life will not stop testing you. Pressure will not disappear. But when you carry this tool within you, you are never helpless. Every inhale is strength. Every exhale is release. Every breath is proof that peace is always within reach. So whenever you feel yourself drowning in stress, remember this truth. Calmness is only one breath away. And if you can master the art of breathing with intention, you will carry with you a secret power that no storm can steal. Because while others break under pressure, you will rise steady, composed, and strong, anchored by the rhythm of your own breath. Stress is often seen as the enemy, but that belief alone is what gives it power over you. The truth is that stress itself is not the problem. Stress is energy. Stress is intensity. Stress is raw fuel. What breaks people is not the presence of stress, but their inability to channel it. They resist it. They fear it. They fight against it. And in doing so, they let it crush them. But when you learn to reframe stress, when you begin to see it not as a threat, but as a source of strength, everything changes. Your body was designed to respond to challenge. The surge of adrenaline, the faster heartbeat, the heightened awareness, these are not signs of weakness. They are signs that your body is preparing you to perform. Athletes know this. Soldiers know this. Leaders know this. The pressure you feel is not there to destroy you. It is there to sharpen you. The same stress that makes one person panic can make another person rise. The difference is perception. When you tell yourself stress is dangerous, your body interprets it as danger. Your breath shortens, your muscles tighten, your mind closes. But when you tell yourself stress is energy, your body interprets it as fuel. Your breath deepens, your focus sharpens, your presence expands. This is not imagination. This is science. Studies show that reframing stress improves performance, increases resilience, and protects health. The meaning you give to stress determines whether it weakens you or strengthens you. Imagine standing in the middle of pressure without resisting it, without fearing it, simply accepting it as energy moving through you. Suddenly, stress loses its power to overwhelm you. It becomes a wave you can ride instead of a storm that drowns you. Instead of wishing for less stress, you begin to train yourself to carry more, to handle more, to grow stronger under it. And with each test, your threshold expands. What once shook you no longer even touches you. This is the secret of those who thrive under pressure. They do not avoid stress, they transform it, they step into challenges with the belief that the pressure will sharpen their focus, deepen their discipline, and strengthen their resolve. They rise because they do not waste energy fighting what is natural. they channel it into something greater. You can do the same. The next time stress rises, do not run from it. Do not curse it. Tell yourself, this is energy. This is power. I can use this. Feel it move through your body like electricity and direct it into clarity, into action, into strength. The very thing that once made you anxious becomes the very thing that fuels your growth. Calmness is not the absence of stress. Calmness is the mastery of stress. It is the ability to stand in the middle of intensity and remain unshaken because you no longer fear it. You use it. You bend it. You transform it into fuel for your purpose. This is how you move from fragile to unbreakable. This is how you train your mind to find peace, not by escaping pressure, but by rising above it. And when you reach this level, no amount of stress will ever own you again. It will only build you stronger. Calmness grows in the space between what happens to you and how you choose to respond. That space is small, but it contains your entire power. Most people rush past it without realizing it exists. Something triggers them, and instantly they react. Words fly out, emotions explode, decisions are made in haste. Later comes regret, but by then the damage is done. The secret to unshakable calm lies in claiming that gap, in training yourself to pause before the reaction takes control. The pause is not weakness. The pause is not hesitation. The pause is mastery. It is the conscious decision to let your higher mind take the wheel instead of letting raw emotion drive you into chaos. When you pause, even for a second, you step out of automatic reaction and step into deliberate action. That single breath, that single moment of awareness can mean the difference between destroying your peace and protecting it, between escalating conflict and diffusing it, between regret and wisdom. Your mind is not meant to operate only on impulse. You have a deeper capacity, a level of thought that emerges only when you slow down. The greatest leaders, the calmest souls, the most powerful minds all share this ability. They refuse to let urgency dictate their choices. They understand that the first reaction is rarely the best one. By pausing, they give themselves room to see clearly, to choose wisely, to act with intention instead of impulse. Imagine the strength that comes with this discipline. Someone attacks you with words, but you do not bite back. You pause, breathe, and respond with clarity. A stressful situation appears, but you do not panic. You pause, anchor yourself, and act with precision. Life throws chaos at you, but you do not lose yourself. You pause, reclaim your center, and move forward steady. Each pause becomes a declaration. I am not ruled by my emotions. I am not owned by circumstances. I am the master of myself. This practice changes you at the deepest level. At first, the pause feels difficult. The urge to react will pull at you. Your emotions will demand release. Your impatience will scream for action. But the more you train it, the more natural it becomes. Soon, the pause no longer feels forced. It feels automatic. It becomes your nature. You find yourself stepping back instead of lashing out, breathing instead of breaking, choosing instead of collapsing. And the reward is profound. The pause gives you time. The pause gives you clarity. The pause gives you power. While others lose control in the heat of the moment, you remain steady. While others regret what they said or did, you walk away with peace. While others are consumed by reaction, you are elevated by choice. That is the true strength of calmness. It is not about never feeling emotion. It is about never letting emotion own you. Train yourself to pause, and you will unlock a freedom few ever taste. You will stop being a prisoner of every trigger, every stressor, every sudden change. You will discover that between the event and the response lies a choice. And in that choice lies your growth, your freedom, and your unshakable calm. The words you speak to yourself in silence are shaping the state of your mind more than any external challenge ever could. When calm slips away, it is often because your inner voice turns against you, feeding you thoughts of fear, doubt, and urgency. That voice whispers, you can't handle this. It's too much. You're not strong enough. And when you accept those words, your body follows. Your breath shortens, your chest tightens, and your reactions spiral out of control. But when you take command of that voice, when you choose words of strength, calmness returns. The language of your mind is the language of your life. If your inner voice is chaotic, your emotions will be chaotic. If your inner voice is steady, your emotions will be steady. This is the power of self-talk. Your thoughts create chemical changes in the brain. Negative language activates stress responses. Empowering language activates clarity and control. Each phrase you allow inside your head is a command to your nervous system. You cannot speak defeat to yourself and expect to feel peace. You cannot speak panic and expect to feel calm. This is why mastery of calmness requires mastery of language. You must train yourself to notice the words your mind repeats and replace them with words that align with the state you want to live in. When fear rises, instead of saying, I can't handle this, tell yourself, I am capable. I am steady. I can face this. When anger burns, instead of saying this is unbearable, say I choose patience, I choose control, I choose peace. The brain is rewired through repetition. Each time you choose empowering language, you carve a new pathway of calmness. Over time, that pathway becomes your default. Think about how much power this gives you. You no longer wait for the world to give you reassurance. You give it to yourself. You no longer depend on others to calm you. You calm yourself. You no longer let fear dictate your story. You write your own with every word you choose. And the more consistent you become, the stronger your mind grows. Just as muscles are built through repeated movement, calmness is built through repeated words. This practice does not mean ignoring reality. It means interpreting reality in a way that empowers you instead of weakens you. The same situation can feel overwhelming or manageable depending on the language you use to describe it. Say this is impossible, and your body shuts down. Say this is a challenge I will grow through, and your body activates strength. Language is not just description, it is creation. The reward is transformation at the deepest level. You stop being at the mercy of passing thoughts, and you start becoming the author of them. You stop feeding panic with negative scripts, and you start feeding calmness with empowering ones. You stop being the victim of your inner dialogue, and you start being the commander of it. With every phrase of strength, you align your mind, your body, and your actions with peace. Train your language, and you will train your calm. Make your inner voice your ally, and no storm can shake you. Speak the words of strength, of patience, of clarity. And soon calmness will not just be what you practice, it will be who you are. What you see in your mind becomes the reality your body prepares for. If your imagination is filled with chaos, your nervous system responds as though chaos is real. But if you train your mind to see peace, to picture calmness, to imagine stability even in moments of pressure, your body will align with that vision. The brain does not always distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is truly happening. This is why athletes rehearse their victories in their minds before they step into competition. Their bodies follow the images they hold. The same principle can transform your calmness. When stress rises, close your eyes for a moment and create the image of peace. See yourself standing steady, breathing slow, unshaken by what surrounds you. Imagine a place where nothing can disturb you, a place that feels safe and expansive. Let the details become vivid, the sounds, the colors, the stillness. As you build this vision, your mind begins to believe it. Your body begins to reflect it. Your breath deepens, your muscles relax, your thoughts find order. What you see inside becomes how you feel outside. This is not escape. It is training. Just as lifting weights builds strength in your muscles, visualizing calm builds strength in your nervous system. Each time you return to this inner practice, you are conditioning your mind to associate stress with peace instead of panic. You are creating new pathways that override the old ones. And with repetition, those pathways become automatic. Eventually, you no longer need to close your eyes to summon calmness. It rises naturally because your mind has been trained to expect it. The power of visualization is that it shifts identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who loses control under pressure, and you start seeing yourself as someone who remains steady. And when your identity changes, your behavior follows. If you see yourself as fragile, you act fragile. If you see yourself as strong, you act strong. When you consistently visualize yourself calm, composed, and unshakable, your body begins to align with that version of you until it becomes reality. This practice gives you more than temporary relief. It gives you command over your mental environment. The world outside may be unpredictable, but the world inside can be shaped by your vision. You are no longer a passive receiver of chaos. You are an active creator of calm. And the more you practice, the faster it becomes. In seconds, you can switch your state. In moments, you can reclaim peace. This is mastery. the ability to design your inner state, regardless of outer circumstances. The reward is not just calmness in the moment. The reward is the transformation of your entire presence. People will feel the difference in you. They will sense your steadiness, your composure, your quiet power. You will walk into rooms where others are tense and your very presence will bring relief. That is what happens when you carry peace so strongly within that it radiates outward. Your imagination is not meant to be wasted on fear and worst-case scenarios. It is meant to be your tool for creation. Use it to rehearse calmness until it becomes your natural state. See peace, and you will feel peace. Feel peace, and you will live peace. What begins as a vision soon becomes your reality, because the mind you train with images is the life you create with action. Calmness is not built in moments of crisis alone. It is built in the quiet routines you choose every day. The habits you practice shape the foundation of your mind long before challenges arrive. If your days are filled with noise, distraction, and unchecked stress, then when pressure hits, you will collapse under its weight. But if your days are structured with rituals that ground you, strengthen you, and center you, then when life tests you, calmness will rise as your natural response. Your mornings set the tone for your entire day. If you begin in chaos, you carry chaos with you. But if you begin in stillness, that stillness flows into everything you do. A few minutes of intentional practice, breathing deeply, writing down what you are grateful for, reflecting on what matters, can shift your entire mental state. These rituals are not small, they are powerful signals to your brain that you are in control, that you are choosing focus over distraction, peace over panic. The way you start each day is the way you train your mind to handle what comes after. Equally important are the moments before you rest. Many people fall asleep with their minds racing, replaying the stress of the day, drowning in unresolved thoughts. This chaos does not vanish overnight. It seeps into your subconscious and fuels anxiety the next day. But when you close your evenings with calm rituals, slowing your breath, releasing tension, noting what went well, you prepare your mind for rest and your body for recovery. The next morning you rise stronger, clearer, more resilient. Calmness is not something you stumble upon. It is something you design through consistency. Daily rituals create predictability in an unpredictable world. They give your nervous system a rhythm, a sense of safety and stability. When the rest of life feels uncertain, your mind clings to routine as an anchor. This is why discipline is freedom. The structure you create gives you the space to feel steady even when the world around you is not. A person without rituals is tossed around by external circumstances. A person with rituals is guided from within. These habits do not need to be complicated. What matters is not how much time they take, but how much intention you bring. A few deep breaths, a moment of silence, a short practice of gratitude done consistently will rewire your brain far more effectively than occasional bursts of effort. The key is repetition. What you do daily becomes who you are, and who you are is what will emerge when life tests you. Calmness grows like a muscle. Each ritual is a repetition, each practice a strengthening of your inner stability. Over time, you notice the difference. Stress no longer overwhelms you so easily. Pressure no longer shakes you so quickly. You become grounded, steady, prepared, and this quiet strength flows into every interaction, every decision, every challenge you face. The reward of daily discipline is more than peace in the moment. It is transformation of identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who is calm, someone who is centered, someone who cannot be easily broken. And once that identity is formed, it guides every choice you make. Your rituals build your reality. Your consistency builds your calm. And your calm builds a life that no storm can destroy. Calmness is not the absence of emotion. It is mastery over it. Many believe staying calm means suppressing feelings, burying anger, or pretending fear does not exist. But suppression is not strength. It is weakness disguised as control. True strength is acknowledgement without surrender. It is seeing the storm within, yet choosing not to let it dictate your response. Calmness is not about silence on the surface. It is about balance at the core. When you allow yourself to feel without letting those feelings control your actions, you reclaim your power. Anxiety may rise, frustration may appear, tension may tighten your chest, but these are signals, not commands. The body reacts, but the mind decides. The gap between reaction and response is where calmness lives. Expanding that gap is the greatest skill you can train. It requires awareness, practice, and discipline. And each time you succeed, even for a few seconds, you strengthen the pathways in your brain that keep you centered in chaos. Psychology has shown that emotions lose their grip when they are named. Labeling what you feel breaks the illusion of being consumed by it. Saying to yourself, this is anger or this is fear, creates distance between you and the emotion. You step into the role of the observer instead of the victim. This mental shift pulls you from the chaos and places you back into command. It transforms an overwhelming wave into something you can ride. Calmness also requires the courage to question your thoughts. Not every thought that enters your mind deserves to be believed. Stressful situations trigger automatic stories. This is the end. I can't handle this. Everything will go wrong. But most of these are exaggerations built from fear, not truth. When you challenge them, when you pause and ask, is this thought real or is it just my fear speaking? You strip them of their power. What remains is clarity, and clarity breeds calm. Another key lies in detachment. This does not mean apathy, but perspective. When you zoom out, the problem that feels massive shrinks into proportion. What seems like a mountain in the moment is often just a small stone in the span of your life. Detachment allows you to step back, breathe, and respond with wisdom instead of panic. It reminds you that no moment defines you, no challenge is permanent, and no feeling lasts forever. Calmness is perspective in action. The reward of emotional mastery is freedom. You are no longer a prisoner of your triggers, no longer controlled by the reactions of others, no longer dictated by fear or anger. Instead, you live from a place of choice. You speak with clarity, act with intention, and move with strength. People notice. They feel the stability you carry. They trust your presence because calmness inspires confidence. This is why calmness is a form of power. It is not loud. It does not demand attention, yet it influences everything around it. When you master your emotions, you control your energy. When you control your energy, you control your life. And when you control your life, no chaos, no pressure, no storm can take away your peace. Calmness becomes your shield, your weapon, and your identity. Calmness is also built through the strength of your breathing. Your breath is the most powerful signal to your mind and body. When it is fast, shallow, and erratic, your nervous system believes you are in danger. But when it is slow, deep, and steady, your body receives a different message. You are safe. You are in control. You can remain calm. Breathing is the bridge between your physical state and your mental state, and learning to control it is one of the greatest tools you can ever master. Every inhale fuels your body with energy. Every exhale releases tension. When stress rises, simply shifting your focus to your breath creates immediate change. Slow it down, deepen it, control it. In those moments, you are not just calming your body, you are rewiring your brain. You are training it to associate challenges with clarity instead of panic. This practice is ancient, yet modern science now proves what has been known for centuries. The way you breathe determines the way you feel. Calmness requires awareness of your body as much as your mind. Tension stored in your muscles sends constant signals of stress to your brain. Shoulders raised, jaw clenched, fists tight. These subtle cues feed the cycle of anxiety. But when you consciously relax, when you drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, soften your hands, you break that cycle. Calmness is not only mental, it is physical. Your body and mind mirror each other. By changing one, you influence the other. This is why stillness is powerful. In a world that never stops moving, choosing stillness is an act of control. Sitting quietly, breathing deeply, centering yourself, even for a few minutes, creates space between you and the chaos around you. That space is where clarity is born. That space is where your mind resets. And the more often you step into it, the more natural calmness becomes in every part of your life. Calmness is also strengthened through mindfulness. When you focus fully on the present, distractions lose their grip. Worry is always about the future. Regret is always about the past. But calmness lives only in this moment. Paying attention to what is here and now silences the noise of what might be or what has been. Your senses become sharper, your thoughts clearer, your reactions slower and more deliberate. This is how you train your mind to remain grounded, even when storms surround you. The power of these practices lies not in their complexity, but in their consistency. breathing, relaxing, being still, being present. These are simple, but they are not easy. The world will tempt you to rush, to stay tense, to live distracted. Calmness requires rebellion against that pull. It demands that you choose discipline over impulse, presence over distraction, control over chaos. And every time you choose it, you grow stronger. The reward of mastering your breath, your body, and your presence is unshakable composure. You no longer collapse under pressure. You no longer spiral in stress. You meet every challenge with clarity and every setback with strength. Your calmness becomes a force no one can disturb, a stability that carries you through life's most demanding moments. And in that strength, you discover that peace is not found, it is created. Calmness is also forged in the way you speak to yourself. The words you repeat in your own mind shape the emotions you feel. If your inner dialogue is filled with panic, doubt, or negativity, calmness cannot survive. But if you choose words of strength, reassurance, and clarity, your mind begins to align with peace. Self-talk is not empty affirmation. It is the programming of your subconscious. Every statement you feed, it becomes a command your body obeys. When stress rises, many people unconsciously fuel it with destructive thoughts. They tell themselves they cannot handle it, that everything is going wrong, that they are powerless. These words tighten the grip of fear and make calmness impossible. But when you shift the language, you shift the experience, saying, I can handle this, or this moment will pass, or I choose peace, changes the direction of your emotions. Your words become an anchor, reminding your mind of its ability to stay steady when everything else feels unstable. Research in psychology proves that self-talk influences performance and stress regulation. Athletes, leaders, and high performers rely on it to keep their focus under immense pressure. The same principle applies to everyday life. When challenges strike, your self-talk either steadies your nerves or amplifies your fear. The choice is always yours. The way you speak to yourself is either your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. Calmness requires that you take control of your inner voice. Speak with intention. Interrupt destructive patterns the moment they appear. Replace panic with perspective, negativity with power, fear with focus. These small shifts accumulate, and soon your default inner voice becomes one of strength. You stop spiraling in chaos and instead guide yourself back to balance. Your self-talk becomes a coach, not a critic. It builds resilience instead of tearing it down. Another layer of calmness comes from the questions you ask yourself. In stress, most people ask, what if this goes wrong? Or why is this happening to me? These questions feed panic. Instead, ask, what can I control right now? Or how can I respond with strength? The quality of your questions determines the quality of your calmness. Empowering questions pull your mind toward clarity. Disempowering questions drag it into chaos. Your words, both spoken and silent, are energy. They either settle your spirit or disturb it. They either steady your breath or make it shallow. They either remind you of your strength or convince you of your weakness. Mastering calmness requires mastering this inner dialogue because no one speaks to you more than you. Every thought, every phrase, every inner whisper shapes the way you handle pressure. The reward of mastering self-talk is unshakable inner confidence. You stop seeking reassurance from the outside because you know how to create it from within. You no longer collapse when things go wrong because your voice tells you that you can endure. You no longer lose yourself to fear because your words remind you that you are stronger than fear itself. Calmness becomes the natural language of your mind, and once it does, you carry that power into every challenge life places before you. Calmness is also sustained by the boundaries you set in your life. A mind cannot remain steady if it is constantly consumed by noise, negativity, and distraction. The environments you allow, the people you surround yourself with, and the energy you absorb all shape the state of your inner world. You cannot expect to feel peace if you are endlessly surrounded by chaos. Protecting your calm is not selfish. It is necessary for survival, growth, and clarity. Every demand, every distraction, every toxic influence pulls at your attention and drains your energy. Without boundaries, you leave yourself open to endless intrusion. Your mind becomes reactive instead of intentional, restless instead of steady. Calmness is built when you decide what you will allow and what you will not. It is built when you stop giving your energy to what weakens you and start guarding it for what strengthens you. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. They allow in what supports you and shut out what destabilizes you. The people around you influence your calm more than you may realize. If you are surrounded by constant drama, negativity, or emotional instability, your nervous system absorbs it. Your body mirrors the energy of the room. But when you choose environments of respect, positivity, and focus, your calmness expands. This does not mean avoiding challenges or isolating yourself. It means being intentional with who and what you give access to your inner space. The calmer your surroundings, the calmer your mind. Digital boundaries matter just as much. The endless flood of notifications, arguments, and opinions can overwhelm your focus. Every scroll fills your mind with noise that was never meant for you. Calmness requires the courage to disconnect, to step away from constant stimulation and reclaim your attention. When you reduce digital clutter, you create space for clarity. Silence is not empty, it is the foundation of calm. Protecting that silence is one of the greatest acts of strength you can practice. Boundaries also mean learning to say no. Every yes that is not aligned with your values is a betrayal of your peace. Many people sacrifice calmness for approval, constantly overcommitting, constantly pleasing, constantly stretching themselves thin. But calmness demands courage. The courage to decline what does not serve you, the courage to stand firm in what you need, the courage to protect your mind above all else. Every no you speak to distraction is a yes to your strength. When you create boundaries, you send a powerful signal to yourself. Your peace matters. And when your peace matters, your calmness deepens. You stop living at the mercy of external forces and start living with inner stability. You stop being pulled in every direction and begin moving in the direction that serves your growth. The reward of boundaries is freedom. You free yourself from unnecessary chaos, from energy that does not belong to you, from distractions that steal your focus, and in that freedom, calmness flourishes. You become someone who is steady, unshaken, and grounded. Your presence becomes a force of stability in a world that is constantly spinning. And once you reach that state, no storm, no voice, no demand can strip you of the calm you have chosen to protect. Calmness is reinforced by the standards you hold for yourself. When your actions are aligned with your values, your mind rests with peace. But when you live in contradiction, saying one thing while doing another, promising yet not following through, your mind cannot stay calm. It carries the hidden weight of guilt, inconsistency, and regret. Integrity is the soil where calmness grows. A life lived in truth creates a mind that does not need to hide, defend, or excuse itself. Disorder in life often comes from disorder within. If your habits lack discipline, your mind feels unstable. If you constantly chase distractions, your energy scatters. If you procrastinate on what matters, anxiety builds in the background. Calmness is not only emotional, it is practical. It is born from the structure you create, the order you maintain, and the discipline you uphold. Every time you honor your word, complete your task, and act with consistency, you send a message to yourself, you are in control. That message becomes the foundation of inner steadiness. Living with standards means refusing to settle for chaos when clarity is possible. It means setting rules for yourself that keep you aligned even when no one is watching. Standards are not restrictions, they are liberations. They free you from regret, from wasted energy, from the endless stress of living below your potential. Every standard you raise is a chain you break. Every act of discipline is an act of self-respect. And self-respect is one of the strongest fuels for calmness. Calmness also thrives in honesty. The weight of lies, excuses, and avoidance is heavy on the nervous system. When you run from truth, you carry constant fear of being exposed, constant tension from pretending. But when you choose honesty with yourself and with others, you strip away that weight. You live light, you live clean, you live free. Calmness cannot exist where deception lingers, but it expands when truth is embraced. Honesty is clarity, and clarity is calm. The way you manage your time also reflects your standards. A life lived in constant rush, filled with last-minute reactions, destroys calmness. When you take control of your time, when you plan, prioritize, and focus, you create stability. The mind rests when it knows what must be done and trusts that you will do it. Every moment of discipline removes a layer of chaos. Every act of structure clears the fog of stress. Time, when managed with intention, becomes a powerful ally in protecting your peace. Calmness built on standards is not fragile, it is unshakable. It is not dependent on what others say or do. It is not disturbed by temporary chaos. It stands firm because it is rooted in discipline, integrity, and truth. These are anchors that no storm can tear away. The reward of high standards is not perfection, but stability. You no longer live in constant regret or self-doubt because you know you are aligned with what matters. You trust yourself because your actions prove your strength. That trust becomes calmness, and that calmness becomes confidence. And once you carry that confidence, you walk through life with a presence that cannot be broken because you know you are living true to yourself. Calmness deepens when you learn to let go of what you cannot control. Most stress does not come from the situation itself, but from the mind's attempt to force an outcome it has no power over. The more you fight against what cannot be changed, the more restless and anxious you become. But when you release the need to control the uncontrollable, you create space for peace. Surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the recognition that your energy is better spent on what you can influence than wasted on what you cannot. The human mind craves certainty, but life offers none. Every day holds unknowns, surprises, and shifts that no amount of worry can prevent. Calmness is not found in resisting uncertainty, but in embracing it. When you accept that you cannot predict or control everything, you free yourself from the prison of endless what-ifs. You step into a deeper kind of power, the ability to stay steady no matter how unpredictable the moment is. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means standing strong in the truth of reality while choosing your best response. This shift requires humility. It demands that you acknowledge your limits and place your focus where it matters. You cannot control the behavior of others, but you can control your reactions. You cannot control the outcome of every challenge, but you can control your effort. You cannot control the future, but you can control this moment. And when you anchor yourself in this truth, calmness expands. Your mind stops running toward fears of tomorrow and returns to the strength of now. Letting go also means releasing the weight of the past. Regret, guilt, and resentment are chains that keep you restless. They replay old stories that cannot be rewritten and trap your energy in what has already ended. Calmness requires forgiveness, not always because others deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Forgiveness is a choice to no longer let the past disturb your present. It is an act of liberation, a release of mental noise, and a return to stillness. Psychology confirms that rumination, the endless replaying of negative events, fuels anxiety and depression. But interrupting that cycle, choosing to let go, resets the mind. It allows space for clarity and focus. The more you practice release, the lighter you become. The lighter you become, the calmer you remain. What once consumed your energy loses its grip because you refuse to carry what is not yours to hold. Letting go is not passive, it is active strength. It takes courage to stop clinging to what you cannot control. It takes clarity to redirect your focus toward what matters, and it takes discipline to choose release over resistance. But once you make that choice, you discover that calmness is not something you chase. It is something that naturally arises when you stop fighting battles that were never yours to win. The reward of letting go is freedom of the mind. You no longer waste energy wrestling with what cannot be changed. You no longer carry the weight of the past or the fear of the future. You live lighter, clearer, steadier. In that state, calmness flows through you effortlessly. You become a force that no circumstance can unbalance because you have mastered the art of release.